Hi, everybody. Thank you guys for joining us today. Well, we're excited to dive in, so let's get started, and I'll pass things over to our great presenters today.
Jerica, thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Greenshades webinar series. Today, we're talking about planning ahead, payroll and HR strategies for a smooth 2025. My name is Michael Halford. I'm a payroll account executive here with Greenshades. I've been with the company for just shy of 2 years, and I've been working in the payroll and HR space for about 5 years or so. And then we also have Jason Cools with us. I will let him introduce himself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jason Cools. I have been with Greenshades for just over 2 years now, and I work on our standalone tax and HR solutions here at Greenshades.
Awesome. Thanks, Jason. Happy to have everyone here today. Let's quickly cover our objective before we get things rolling. So what we're going to do today is explore proactive payroll and HR strategies in the hopes of streamlining year-end tasks and ensuring compliance and efficiency. And what we hope that you all gain today is practical insights and tools to prepare your team, optimize processes, and build a strong foundation for a successful year ahead. And just a quick disclaimer, the content here is not formal legal advice. We are not authorized attorneys, Jason and I. So always consult your local counsel as well as your organization's legal and accounting teams. Purpose of the presentation, we're just trying to provide a high-level overview for the year-end forms process and how we at Greenshades can help you. And Greenshades partners with my HR counsel to provide customers with affordable online and on-demand legal advice if that's something that you need. We're going to do a quick overview here, and then we'll go into details later on each of these. But for year-round reconciliations, really what we're talking about is being able to reconcile payroll, HR, and tax data frequently to ensure all records align across all of your different systems, payroll, time tracking, accounting platform, everything. And you want to be able to do that year-round so that you're making sure that it's going on and you don't have a big issue at the end of the year when you need to do your year-end filings. And then accurate employee data management, I know, was another popular answer. And really talking with that, we want to ensure that employee records are up to date, including social security numbers and contact details, and then regularly audit those employee records for missing or incorrect information. That way we can help avoid delays or penalties during filing time. A couple of other points here that are also some common factors: benefits and ACA reporting preparation, being able to track employee benefits, enrollment, and coverage changes to prepare for ACA compliance and 1095-C filings at the end of the year. And then also ensuring that benefits related deductions like 401ks, HSAs, FSAs are accurate in payroll so that they kick back into the benefit side accurately. Also talking about tax withholding and deposits and compliance with those, being able to stay current with federal, state, and local tax rates and ensuring accurate withholding. And then also verifying that payroll tax deposits are submitted on time to avoid compliance issues. And then lastly, we have timely payroll processing and record keeping. That's always an important one, right? Making sure that validating payroll data such as earnings, deductions, and taxes withheld is accurate for each pay period. If you're accurate for each payroll, you should be accurate at the end of the year. It's as simple as that. And keeping detailed payroll records for the entire year to simplify reconciliations at year end. So that's a quick sum up, and then we'll move on to get a little bit more detail on these topics.
Perfect. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, thanks, Jason.
Not a problem. So in the first section here, we're going to take a look at year-end reconciliations, just ways in which we can help, solve any discrepancies before the year-end filing season, just to ensure that that process is smooth and that your organization can stay compliant when it comes to submitting those tax returns. So starting with effective resolutions for payroll discrepancies, one of the critical steps here is going to be ensuring a smooth payroll process will be to effectively address and resolve any discrepancies when they occur. So with this, you want to start by conducting a review after each pay run to identify any errors early on. If you do have any discrepancies that are found, it's important to take immediate action by canceling and reprocessing the payroll for any affected employees. It will also be important to notify any relevant parties, such as government agencies, when necessary in order to stay compliant. And then by maintaining a detailed record of amendments and running regular reports to track changes will just help ensure transparency and accountability. And this can lead directly into the year-end filing season by significantly reducing any risk of cascading errors impacting that year-end process.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Jason. And it's really nice too, because you talked about if you have an issue, being able to cancel it back out of a pay run, or, if the pay run's already processed, being able to go through and make any changes or adjustments to it. It's a nice thing about having something where a platform where you could have unlimited pay runs and also be able to run off cycle pay runs and payments to help address any discrepancies. And that's something that Greenshades can help with.
Perfect. Thank you, Mike. All right. And then next, we will touch on ensuring that your quarterly returns match your W-2s. So for quarterly returns and W-2s, they must align to avoid IRS penalties and corrections. Again, any discrepancies here can lead to those rejected files, increased audits, or even just employee frustration during the tax season. So with having those quarterly reconciliations, it's going to be important that you ensure your quarterly returns match your W-2s. With that, you want to consistently compare your total wages, tax withholdings, and tax deposits reported each quarter against the cumulative totals on your W-2 forms. With this as well, it's important to document any payroll changes. So if you have things like corrections, adjustments, or bonuses, you just want to be aware of those so that you can maintain alignment between those records. And then by leveraging a solution like Greenshades from a payroll standpoint, we can help streamline that process by flagging any discrepancies early on so that you can go in, make those updates very quick, and then being able to have those consistent reconciliations throughout the year will just also assist with setting you up for success during the year-end filing process as well. In the next section here, we're going to touch on the accurate employee data management. So I'm going to kick things off with what information do you need? This will differ from the employer side versus the employee side. So for the employer side, it's going to be crucial that you verify your EIN information in your accounting system before bringing it over to Greenshades. So with this, it can include things like your business location, name, address, state tax ID number, making sure that that information is correct before bringing that information to Greenshades to start processing payroll or your tax filings. The employee side differs really with the employee side information. Effective HR management will begin with the onboarding experience. So during the onboarding process, HR admins are going to want to ensure they're collecting all the necessary information in order to remain compliant. So with this, you'll want to make sure that you're collecting federal and state W-4 information from any new hires. And it's also recommended to verify Social Security numbers using E-Verify. Another crucial step is going to be assigning employee classifications correctly. So with this, it's important to ensure employees are protected by the Fair Labor Standards Act and are compensated appropriately regarding wages and overtime. And then one easy way to help ensure employee information is correct at year end is to provide employees with a self-service option. So that is an offering that we have through Greenshades. It allows employees to update their personal information, manage open enrollment, and update things like W-4s. So I'll touch on this just a little bit further on the next slide here. So through a self-service portal, it really helps empower employees to update information at their convenience. So from the admin side, admins have the ability to configure which details employees can access and modify. And then from there, employees are able to then manage tasks like W-4 updates, life events, address changes, timekeeping, time off. So it really allows employees to have all that information at their fingertips. If they do need to make a change, they can do so directly through their portal without having to reach out to a manager or an HR admin to get information updated. And then with that, our system is designed to ensure that employees can access the portal securely from any approved location. So with that, we do allow employees to log in through a web browser, but we also do have a mobile app as well. So if employees are out of the office or on vacation, they still will have all that information at their fingertips in order to make any updates as well. Okay, and then we have maintaining accurate SSN and TIN numbers. So one important call out here is that the IRS has extended the SSN and TIN number verification process from 24 hours up to 48 hours. So with this verification process taking more time, it makes it even more important this year to maintain those accurate numbers throughout the year. This is a feature within Greenshades that we provide to our clients. So within Greenshades, you can run SSN and TIN verifications to verify those records. But also we do partner with McCorma, who offers instant verification throughout the year. So when we do send out the slide deck, if you would like any more information on McCorma, their information will be included, and you can definitely reach out to their team for more information on that topic as well.
All right.
All right.
Then, thanks, Jason. So let's talk about a topic that seemed to be important to you all based upon your poll question answers: managing compliance year round. There's quite a few things that we can talk about going into here, and I have a lot of information to share, so we'll just move into income reporting as a good place to start. So one of the critical steps to ensuring a smooth payroll process is really going to be effectively addressing and resolving discrepancies when they occur. To do this, you can start by conducting a review after each pay run to make sure that you're identifying any errors early on. If discrepancies are found, you want to take immediate action by canceling and reprocessing the payroll for affected employees. It's also important to notify relevant parties, such as government agencies, when necessary to stay compliant. So if you have a tax reporting error, you want to make sure that you report that early on so that you avoid any penalties or late fees or anything like that. And then maintaining detailed records of amendments and running regular reports to track those changes ensures transparency and accountability. Really, the key is staying proactive and organized so that you can significantly reduce the risk of cascading errors impacting your year-end processes. And then talking about minimum wage changes for this year, for 2025, as we kick things off. We'll send a link to this, to these changes in the recap, but speaking about how this can be and make a major impact. You see here, we have quite a few states on this list that are having a change to their minimum wage requirements, and state minimum wages can really impact year-end forms preparation in a lot of different ways. So first, making sure that you're verifying the wage rates across states or municipalities means multiple payroll systems must accurately track and apply the correct dates for each employee's location. And then changes to minimum wages may affect the employee classification and total taxable income, which of course must be reflected on their W-2s at the end of the year and any other relevant year-end forms. This is really critical for tipped workers, minors, or industry-specific wage standards where there's some different rules that may apply. One of the nice things about this is Greenshades with our software. We're fully cloud-based so that every time you log in, the system updates itself to the latest version that we've pushed out, which we do constantly. We stay compliant in all 50 states for all major changes. So any minimum wage requirements that are going to be updated for each particular state, anytime you log into Greenshades, if you're a client of ours, that stuff's already going to be updated for you. So you don't have to worry about you being specifically compliant and knowledgeable about that. It's going to be within the platform for you.
Perfect. Thanks, Mike. So when it comes to deducting the proper tax withholdings, this is going to be essential to avoid those costly errors and to ensure compliance as well. So we have just a few best practices beneath that I'll cover here. Kicking things off with employee form information. It's important that those employee forms like W-4s are updated It can help to encourage employees to review and update their W forms, whether that's on an annual basis, or if they have any major life events, to make sure that those W-4 forms are updated correctly. You'll also want to monitor tax codes. So if you are handling federal and state or local taxes in-house, it's important to stay current with any changing tax rates and regulations to make sure that those tax calculations are correct. And then when it comes to automating compliance, by leveraging a solution like Greenshades, we can assist with applying the correct withholding rates based on where employees live, where they work, how much they earn, to build out a full schedule of your tax returns within Greenshades. This is a nice feature because it allows organizations to free up time, focus on other organizational-wide tasks that need to be completed. At the same time, having that confidence in Greenshades that we're going to take care of all of the tax calculations on the back end. So when you come into Greenshades Online, you'll be able to go ahead, submit those files, and have that confidence that they'll be received and accepted through the IRS.
Yeah, and I really love that point because we do often have clients that we see, and I'm sure you all here, you attendees have experienced this too, where might have an employee who's remote or who travels, who lives in a certain state, but their work location is in another state. And being able to keep track of that without a platform that helps assist with that automation of it can be really difficult and frustrating and cause a lot of, take a lot of time. And that's something that Greenshades can really help with and just free up the time and kind of give you the peace of mind to not have to worry about that. Okay, so now we're talking about overtime regulations, especially for salaried workers. So the Department of Labor's new overtime regulation set to take effect on January 1st of this year. So it's already in effect. It will raise the salary thresholds that determine overtime eligibility under the Fair Labor Standards Act. So you see here, we have a graphic about who will become eligible for overtime pay under the final rule. And you see the difference in change here as far as from July 1st, 2024 to January 1st, where most salary workers earning less than $58,656 a year are going to be eligible for overtime. So that's something that is really going to be something that has to be kept up on to avoid any errors at the end of the year and avoid any errors as far as how employees are paid. So you don't have to go through and do special pay runs to correct and add overtime to their pay. And Greenshades can help with this in the fact that we know that regulation, we know that it's in effect, and we can monitor hours and earnings based upon salary and pay rate and even employee groupings to advise where an employee should be receiving different pay codes and different pay rates based upon overtime. So this is something that really can help you out to avoid, any inaccuracies and discrepancies to make sure that your employees are paid properly and that you're tax and reporting it properly. And then lastly, with this, payroll systems may need adjustments to handle these changes, making year-end reconciliations crucial for error-free reporting. Staying proactive is really going to ensure that you're staying compliant and you have a smooth process when it comes to your year-end form filings. Okay, so on to our next topic, timely payroll and record keeping. I have a couple of points here. Really talking about keeping track of payroll records. You want to move to that next slide, Jason? Thank you. So staying compliant and keeping track of payroll records in a cloud-based solution. The IRS requires you to keep payroll records for 4 years. And really, with having a cloud-based solution like this, you're removing the need for manual labor. You get to collect your year-end data form directly from your payroll and ERP system because it's keeping track of all of that in the cloud. So being able to track your employee earnings with accurate payroll processing and automatic calculations for payroll deductions really gives you a lot of freedom to work on other things and not have to worry too much about this. Also helps you stay compliant all year long so that when it's time for year end, which we're in right now, you're fully prepared. So this is something that by automating the process, you can really eliminate a lot of that manual error or manual labor and data entry, which of course helps reduce errors and gives you more time to work on other projects. And you're able to then collect the year-end form data directly from the payroll and ERP system. This is going to allow you to easily document and keep track of any changes you have made for any payroll discrepancies, any changes in employees and how much they outwork, how much they earn, all of that. So this is something that makes it really easy for you. And then talking about enhancing payroll processing, we encounter a lot of folks who have complex payroll needs. And really our goal is to simplify payroll with flexible scheduling, automated calculations, and easy error corrections. We talked about this before earlier in this presentation, but Greenshades offers unlimited on-demand pay run support for multiple pay schedules, termination pay, off-cycle checks, pay differentials, commission pay, anything along those lines. So what that means is if you have multiple locations, multiple pay groups that have different schedules, some companies have where they have one pay group that's paid bi-weekly and another group that's paid weekly, or salary versus hourly, where you pay your salary folks twice a month, but you pay your hourly people every week or every 2 weeks. We can support that with unlimited pay runs. And then being able to manage multiple EINs and multi-jurisdictions under one umbrella for your informed filing requirements. That's another key point too. Excuse me there. Sorry about that. Being also able to easily accommodate late time card submissions. So within the payroll platform, what this can do for you is when you have your hours and earnings uploaded into the system, where if you're running payroll time entry for time cards directly within Greenshades, that's pulled into the pay run automatically. But if you have an employee who, after you started submitting payroll or after you submitted payroll, makes a change to their time card and you need to update that, if you're still in the pay run, you can go in and refresh the hours automatically and it pops right in so that you can continue working on what you're doing without having to back out and start over. If the payroll has already been processed, you can make an adjustment for that specific employee at no additional charge, and also would be able to update that pay run for tax purposes as well, so that it can report back to your GL accurately. And then also real-time adjustments for payroll corrections. That one's pretty self-explanatory, very similar. If you have a payroll correction, you can go through and do an adjustment and correct that payroll and reprocess without any problems, and that will make sure that you have accurate reporting for that specific pay run. Then being able to automate complex calculations, the piecework, shift differential, blended overtime, and more. That's something that we can help with. Also being able to support multiple wage types with unlimited payroll codes. So we also have custom payroll codes as well, so that you can create whatever you need.
Perfect. Thank you, Mike. In the last section here, we're going to touch on benefits and ACA reporting. So when it comes to ACA compliance management, being able to maintain ACA compliance year-round will help ensure accurate reporting during year-end filings by staying on top of employee coverage data. Within Greenshades, whether you're on our payroll platform or using our benefits module, we will have an ACA compliance dashboard. This will help to alert to areas of non-compliance. Within the ACA compliance dashboard as well, Greenshades will also help calculate full-time status for standard and initial measurement periods. And then we can also track offered, waived, and enrolled coverage and generate the appropriate 1095C forms directly within our dashboard. If you do need any dependent information as well for 1095C filing, if organizations are utilizing our employee self-service, those employees will be able to store dependent information directly within their employee profile, just making it easy to have all that information in one centralized place and flow over for the tax filing piece as well. And then when it comes to employer shared responsibility, we'll touch on the employer shared responsibility first, and then kind of lead into filing errors and penalties. So if your organization is an applicable large employer, also known as an ALE, you will be legally responsible for offering affordable minimum essential coverage for all employees. This is also known as MEC. Failure to offer MEC or to properly report an offer of MAC can result in the assessment of an employer shared responsibility payment. That's also known as an ESR payment. But ESR payments are not penalties, but rather a calculation of the employer's responsibility to make healthcare options available to their employees and dependents. And then when it comes to filing penalties, so there's different types of penalties. First is late fees or filing late. Second would be if you're not issuing any statements to your employees. And then third is if you do not file at all. So ACA filings that are late or not filed at all, they're still subject to standard IRS penalties for information returns. So for the 2025 filing season, this can range from $60 up to $630. So again, just really important to understand those filing deadlines, understand which employees will need to receive a tax form so that you can plan accordingly and stay compliant per filing. Okay, and then in the last slide for today, we're going to touch on the 1095 forms. So there'll be two types, the 1095C along with the 1095B. For Form 1095C, this is used for reporting information about health insurance coverage employers offer to employees. This includes some details around coverage offered, employee contributions, months of coverage. And then for Form 1095B, this will be the crucial tax document stating that you've received minimum health insurance coverage. This form was created to fulfill the requirements of the Affordable Care Act as well, but it will include details around identifies the policy subscriber, lists any dependents included within the policy, and will also specify coverage months for employees and their dependents under the policy as well. That concludes the webinar for this afternoon. Again, we want to thank you all for taking time out of the day to meet with us. Again, if you have any questions regarding year-end filing or our other solution offerings, you can reach out to us at sales@greenshades.com. Or if you do need any additional help, our support contact information will be listed in the slide deck as well. But again, we appreciate all of your time.
Thank you, everybody, for joining today.
Thank you, everyone, so much. Really appreciate it. And would love to talk with you if you're interested in learning more about anything with Greenshades or anything that we talked about today. I know Jason feels the same.
Awesome. Thank you, guys, and have a great afternoon.